the removal of the flow meter, like is the firmware just ignoring the flow meter on older machines now, or is that still being used?
So the flow meter was never actually used. The flow meter was something that we put in the machine on the assumption that we would eventually want to use it, at very least calibrate.
Right.
And so there was never a firmware that ever used the flow meter. The only thing we had to change in the firmware is the flow meter was slightly impeding the flow because it adds friction. And so we had to just change the physics model slightly when we moved the flow meter to indicate it's not there anymore. So you guys get slightly higher flow by removing the flow meter. It wasn't an expensive part. I mean, we're talking about less than $3 US. It's just
So just from a philosophy perspective, that seems like a really big thing to do, because it's kind of like the whole machine is built on this idea of a closed loop, where you're both doing things and measuring it and adapting based on reality. And then you switched for flow to basically an open loop where you're saying, I can predict what's going to happen. And so that must have been a real debate there.
It was, and that's why it took years. For 4 years, we had that appendix in there that was not needed. And go ahead.
Sorry. The debate, it was easy to end the debate, Nick, because there are no accurate flow meters. The accuracy is like plus or minus 15%. So that's a 30% range. And it's just the machines, when we were using them with the flow meters and looking at what we're seeing, it was just all over the map. The physics model is usually within 2 to 5 total. So, 2 to 3 plus or minus. So it's much, much more accurate than the flow meter ever was. And if they made better flow meters, and they do, and they're huge and they cost thousands of dollars. So it's not feasible.
They're also not fast enough. If we want to do fast water mixing, which we want to, we would have to put a flow meter on the hot water line and the cold water line and have them be really quick responding. And nothing is as quick responding as actually counting pump strokes.